Good evening, dear parishioners. As we gather in this season of the Annunciation, our hearts are drawn to the words of the Apostle Paul in his first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 1, verses 26 to 31, where he speaks of God's choice. Today, we'll explore this passage and connect it to the broader tapestry of readings that illuminate the divine wisdom revealed in unexpected choices. Background: Paul's letter to the Corinthians addresses a community grappling with divisions and worldly wisdom. In these verses, Paul emphasizes the transformative power of God's choice, turning human expectations upside down. Point 1. God's choice in the birth of Isaac. In the story of Isaac's birth, we witness God's choice to fulfill his promise to Abraham and Sarah, despite their old age and Sarah's barrenness. This choice, contrary to human logic, displays God's power to bring forth life in unexpected circumstances. It echoes Paul's message that God's wisdom surpasses worldly understanding. Comparative reference: Genesis chapter 21 verse 2, Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age, at the time of which God had spoken to him. Point 2. Divine appointments in the birth of John the Baptist. The announcement of John the Baptist's birth is another testament to God's choice. The elderly Elizabeth and Zechariah, seemingly beyond the age of bearing children, become vessels of God's divine plan. This choice challenges societal norms and emphasizes God's sovereignty over human limitations. Comparative reference: Luke chapter 1 verse 58, and her neighbors and relatives heard that the Lord had shown great mercy to her, and they rejoiced with her. Point 3. Preparing the way for the Lord in Isaiah. Isaiah's call to prepare the way for the Lord underscores the divine choice to communicate salvation. The passage reflects God's initiative in reaching out to his people, reinforcing the theme that God's choice is not bound by human expectations. Comparative reference: Isaiah chapter 40 verse 3, a voice cries, "In the wilderness prepare the way of the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our God." Point 4. The foolishness and wisdom of God. Paul contrasts the world's wisdom with God's wisdom, highlighting that God's choice often appears foolish by human standards. This resonates with the birth narratives we've explored, where God's unconventional choices confound human understanding but lead to the fulfillment of divine promises. Comparative reference: 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 27, "But God chose what is foolish in the world to shame the wise. God chose what is weak in the world to shame the strong." Point 5. Embracing God's choice today. In our contemporary context, where societal norms and expectations shape our perceptions, Paul's message is profoundly relevant. As we navigate a world that often prizes success and prestige, the wisdom of God's choice challenges us to redefine our understanding of value and success. It invites us to recognize the inherent dignity in every life, irrespective of societal norms. Quotes from Saints, Catechism, Teachings of Pope Francis, St. Therese of Lisieux reminds us, "I understood that every flower created by him is beautiful, that the brilliance of the rose and the whiteness of the lily do not lessen the perfume of the violet or the sweet simplicity of the daisy." The Catechism of the Catholic Church emphasizes God's initiative in choosing us for salvation, CCC 460. Pope Francis, in his encyclical, Laudato Si', speaks about our interconnectedness with creation and the responsibility to care for our common home. Connecting to current affairs. In a world where societal norms often dictate our worth, God's choice challenges us to see beyond external markers of success. As we witness the unfolding of God's plan in the births of Isaac and John the Baptist, we are reminded that God's wisdom continues to work in our lives, choosing the unexpected and transforming what the world might deem insignificant. As we reflect on these passages, may we embrace the truth that God's choice elevates the ordinary to the extraordinary. In a culture that sometimes values the powerful and successful, let us recognize the divine dignity inherent in every person. In conclusion, let the message of God's choice in these passages inspire us to view ourselves and others through the lens of divine wisdom. As we navigate the complexities of our world, may we trust in God's sovereign choices and find joy in the unfolding of His divine plan. Amen.